Hello and welcome to the Penalty Box.
If you are firm and you are sure that you can move and you can score.
I'm Peter Clottey, and today in the Penalty Box we look at Group G. It's been described by the connoisseurs of the game as the group of death. The German machine, the Portuguese team led by Cristiano Ronaldo, arguably the best player in the world at the moment, the US men's national team, and the Ghanaian Black Stars of West Africa. We'll look at these teams and how they will progress at the World Cup in Brazil. Well, I have my experts here today with me, and together we'll look critically at how these teams are going to progress. Well, experts, will it be the German machine?
The Mannschaft. Yes, I think they're going through. But, you know, the thing about the group of death, all groups are groups of death, you know. I mean, if you look at the group where Spain and Holland are together, you know, it's also a difficult group. I think, obviously, Germany is going to go through. They have incredible players, you know, Schweinsteiger, and Klose, the forward who's now playing in Italy. He could become the best goal scorer in the world if he scores in this championship. But one warning here, I think Germany is going to miss Mario Gomez. He's their striker. He's out, so they might have a bit of a problem there. Portugal should go through, but a warning here again. In 2002, we know what happened. Portugal had the United States and lost and was thrown out.
Based on paper, Portugal and Germany should go through. I think the Germans are second in the world and Portugal is ranked third. However, as Joao correctly pointed out, the Americans have a pedigree of beating top teams. And I'm going to say they're going to show some fighting spirit in Brazil. I'm not going to guarantee a victory against Portugal or Germany, but they have some top players.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that is really going to define this group right off the bat is the fact that Portugal and Germany are playing in the first game, right? So the result of that match is going to be very interesting for two reasons. One, the team that wins that one really solidifies the ability to go forward. But the second thing is, if there's a team that loses, if it's not a tie, the team that loses is going to be under tremendous pressure and then under tremendous focus. So my guess would be that if there is a tie, the group will be more unsettled. If there is a victory, interestingly enough, that might mean that both teams are going to go through, because one, by virtue of the advantage they got with the 3 points, and the other one, because of the focus that will come from desperation.
I wanted to point out about Ghana. I mean, nobody's speaking here about Ghana. I think Ghana has got an extremely good physical team. They are a very physical, hard team to beat. And the United States, of course, has got a bad history with Ghana. They were thrown out of the two last World Cups. By who? Ghana.
Yeah, but Joao, that was a close match 4 years ago. That went into extra time, you know, they can play with Ghana.
I want to point out something about the United States. You know, I'm a great follower of the United States. I've been following the United States since I first arrived in this country, and I have great hope for the United States soccer. But the United States under Klinsmann has been a very irregular team. They can play very, very well, and they can play very, very badly. And another thing that I don't know, this is, of course, the coaches have their own methods. Portugal, I think, is doing the right thing. They chose the 23 guys. The 23 guys are training, and they're training as a team. The United States and Germany, they have 30 guys, and they have to eliminate 7 of them. And this, I think, in my opinion, might affect the way the team plays.
I know by 2nd June, the 23-man squad would have to be established.
Of course.
Now, when you look at the Portuguese team, some people say that their defense is weak.
Oh, no.
Now, they have Cristiano Ronaldo who can turn a game on top of its head. The Germans don't. When you come to the US team, some people say, well, they play just like the Germans. They are mechanical. They don't have a schemer who can turn a game on top of its head. What say you?
Well, I say that this thing about the Portuguese defense is wrong. They've got 2 of the best defenders in the world.
Well, 2 doesn't make 2.
Coentrão and Pepe on central defense. Then they've got Alves at the center, who's an extremely good defender. He plays in Turkey. I don't know who they're going to play on the right side. And then on the midfield, of course, there's a guy that everybody forgets about, which is Coutinho. He plays in Monaco now. Coutinho, if he combines with Cristiano Ronaldo, both of them are deadly. We saw when Portugal got through to the finals, it was a magisterial pass by Coutinho that put Ronaldo through and the goal. So I think Portugal has got a good team. Can they win the World Cup? I don't think so.
Peter, just to go back to a point that Andre made about the opening match, Ghana is going to play the United States in the opening for both teams. Klinsmann has described that match as a World Cup final in terms of importance. Either team, if they can pick up 3 points, they almost have to pick up 3 points, because if they draw, they get the Portuguese and the Germans after that. And I don't know if that's going to be enough to go through.
Yeah, those first 2 games really are very defining in that group. I am convinced, very convinced. Now, one of the things regarding the Portuguese defense that is worrying me a little bit, being Portuguese and a fan of the team, and that is the fact that Rui Patricio is not in the best shape, health-wise, and that could be a problem. The same is true of Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, we've seen him in the past, even in an injury situation, where by virtue of his genius with the football, that he's been able to turn a game around. But those are concerns, because the Portuguese team is so dependent on him, not only from an execution on the field, but also from a morale standpoint. So seeing something happen to him from an injury standpoint could be a very serious blow. Yeah.
But let us not forget that the game of football or soccer, it's not predictable.
No.
There are surprises. What would you say?
Today I was listening to an interview by Alves, the central defender for Portugal, and he was saying, and he's right, in soccer, sometimes the most difficult games are the easy ones, and the most easy games are the most difficult ones.
You could clearly give an example of Barca against Atletico Madrid. Now, Barca had all the stars. Atletico Madrid were just determined. They said, you are not qualifying today. And they beat Barca.
Yeah.
Now, could there be a possibility that
definitely
US could shock Germany, Portugal could shock Germany, Ghana could shock Portugal? Any combination.
Any combination is possible.
Can you see that happening?
Yeah, of course, anything is possible. If I knew what was going to happen, I would be a very rich man. But
and that's the reason why they play the games, I might add, right? So in soccer, it's interesting. Unlike other sports where there's a lot of scoring, and therefore, the best team from a talent standpoint and preparation tends to come up on top. In soccer, you could have a genius that changes the game, by virtue of a brilliant play. And so you see the contrast between a German team that is more methodical, that is, Teutonic in origin, really, and that just goes at it, in a very determined fashion, rarely with tremendous flashes of brilliance, but with tremendous efficacy, right? And then you have teams like Brazil and Portugal, and even to a large degree Argentina, by virtue of the raw talent that exists in their plantel, as we say in Portuguese, that really is capable of changing the game on a moment. Right. And so that becomes very defining, because if you have a defense and a midfield that is capable of holding a result, then you could have that type of combination where one moment of glory and a steady defense, and you have a good result.
Let us not forget that at the World Cup in South Africa, Ghana lost to Germany. You could clearly tell it wasn't that great of a match that they played. But do you think Ghana could give Germany some stiff competition?
Yes,
looking at how they played for years.
Ghana is first of all, they're a young team, and second, they're very tough physically. This is a team that is not afraid physically to clash. And so I think they're going to give a hard time to all these superstars. I mean, they won't be shy to go after them. And so this is going to be interesting with Ghana. Now, nobody's speaking about them. Everybody's, of course, Portugal and Germany, in theory, they'll go through easily. But, you never know. I mean, I still think that the United States could pull a surprise if they are in one of those days that they play well.
If you look at player to player, it looks like the German team appears unbeatable. But some people are predicting that. You look at the way the Germans, Bayern Munich, played in the Champions League, they could find a way to beat them. Can Portugal pull a surprise?
Oh, on Germany? Oh, definitely, yeah. I think Portugal can, it's going to be difficult, as everybody says. The Germans, as he said, play very Teutonical, and they never give up. And but they have an incredible, I mean, if you think of players like Schweinsteiger, Lahm, undoubtedly one of the best right defenders in the world.
You're talking about Cruz,
yeah, I mean, they've got incredible talent and players who are also very physical. I mean, these are guys that are used to pressure. So it's going to be difficult. I don't think 11 against 11, I don't think the Portuguese have the level of the Germans overall. But of course they can win. I mean, they've got the best, one of the best, or the best player in the world.
Some people say it depends on the hunger of the team. The team that wanted more could progress.
Well, Portugal has got a tendency to commit suicide, I must say.
And sometimes in the later stages of the competition. I think Portugal is going to be hungry against Germany. You know, the last time they got beaten, and they remember that. And so if everybody stays healthy, that would be one heck of a game. It will be one heck of a game. I could see any kind of score coming out of that, including a score with a lot of goals, interestingly enough, because of the talent involved.
And in terms of the Ghana-USA opener, again, I predict a close match. I remember Ghana, you know, crushing Egypt in that World Cup qualifier, 6-1. Exactly. I don't think we're going to see that many goals in Brazil between the U.S. and Ghana. But I think it should be a really hard-fought match.
Thank you very much, guys. This is about all time will permit us for today. Thanks again for joining us in the penalty box. I'm Peter Clotty. Bye for now.
Dribble, dribble, dribble.